So this is Jasmine, an email marketer with loads of value to share. But realistically, so does every single other email marketer. And when we started working with Jasmine, she had 0 clients until we realized that her dad had a supplement store that got shut down because of COVID. And she told me with full confidence, if she knew what she knows now, probably could have saved it. So we put that inside of our video sales letter. 2 weeks later, she closed her first ever 4-figure client. And this call recording shows you exactly how to do the same thing. Using stories to provide value that no one else can. And if you do find this video insightful, please make sure to like and subscribe. We're almost at 100 subscribers. So if you guys want to copy this over to your Notion, then you can kind of walk through it with me. This reel is literally about what you do, okay? And showcasing that expertise. So by the end of this call, I want you all to walk away with a scripted Instagram reel that you can go film easily, simply. There is no, oh, but how do I do this? How do I do that? All questions answered. You go film this reel straight away. Maybe edit it up straight away or tonight and go post it. The reason why you want to do this straight away is because this reel actually showcases, you know, we've spoken about, you know, your personality and your brand and all your messaging, but part of your brand is also what you do, okay? This is the last thing that we're going to kind of work on in terms of the brand. Email marketer, what do you do? Simple. This is probably the reel that you all have been wanting to make at the start of this kind of process of building the personal brand and making content. The reason why this is the last thing is because I want to train your brain on this is the least important reel you can make. Because without the other stuff, as I said before, without the top of funnel, without understanding your brand, without getting people interested, no one is going to watch this, okay? So, any questions before we start? All good? Perfect. All right. First step of this process, finding the story, okay? With anything, with any piece of content, you find the idea, right? But realistically, is you actually find the story that you want to tell. And this story specifically lies in the past version of yourself, not in age, but in skill set. So think about, all right, if I knew this thing, what I know now, this wouldn't have happened. And that's your story. Find that. I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to kind of think it through and write that story out specifically. And if you feel like you don't have one for you personally, like your skill set, maybe you're quite new, you haven't been in situations where your skill set, you kind of have a long time period of you getting better at your skill, then think about your dream viewer, right? The person watching this video. If they knew what I know, they wouldn't have been in that situation. Same thing. Find that story. I'll give you guys 5 minutes. And once you're done, just put your hand up, raise your hand so I know. Zaria, what's the story?
So for me, like in terms of, just to make sure I have it like straight. So it's kind of like if they knew what I knew, like they wouldn't be in the position they're in.
Yeah.
And this is for like my ICP or like just in general.
Your dream viewer, so like a broadened version of your ICP.
Okay, so I'd say for me, if I was like, if I kept track of like what's actually going on, like technology, like AI and everything, I would have like saved myself a lot of time and work, and I'm sure like they can as well. Like for this, I'd say like just like automating certain things that used to take up like a couple hours of my day. So that's pretty much what I would talk about most likely.
Cool. Would you say that's like a common thing in your with the kind of person that you're speaking to in this reel?
I mean, yeah, I think pretty much all business owners have a lot of things that they can automate that take hours of their day. So
think about your dream viewer. So like pretty much like the e-com brands around your revenue range. If that is something that they have gone through, then perfect.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
Yeah, it's hard when you don't have the data for it. So it's fine. Like that's completely fine. If you're not 100% sure, you only find out if you post the content. I want to give you guys a great example and of Jasmine's one that she would have done if she was here, and it's the perfect story for this, right? Her dad owned a supplement brand. It got shut down because of COVID. She is now an email marketer who knows how to basically take the existing customer base and make money off that, which, you know, would have been helpful for her dad so that her dad's shop could have stayed alive. That is the story. If I knew what I know now, that wouldn't have happened. Now you know how to find the story. I'm going to be totally honest because I want to make you aware of something within these community calls. No matter how clear I am on these YouTube videos, you probably will get stuck somewhere, or you might just forget to even implement it, which means you need a personalized answer. You need me to sit down with you and figure this stuff out. So if you do want to be part of these live calls, which happen 4 times a week on outreach, content, sales, and how to actually grow your business and sign 4-figure clients as a service provider, click the link down below to apply. Johnny, what's your story?
So back in the day when I started doing ads, I basically have no idea how to actually make ads. I mean, I know how to make a video, of course, but like the essentials of how to actually craft one basically stem down to not knowing how to like communicate properly with your ICP and actually speak the emotions or like the needs that they have. I used to think like if this makes sense to buy, then they'll buy it. Why won't they buy it? But like I understood through trial and error, obviously, that you need to actually speak their language, like through their pain for them to actually know it. And if I knew that when I was starting out, I would have probably saved like tons of ad spend and also like probably even kept a lot of my clients.
Nice, perfect, lovely. Give you guys a couple more minutes. I'll give you guys my story that I wrote here. And it was that I used to be so nervous for sales because I thought I was bad at sales, and every score would be so nervous on. Every sales score I took went wrong. I tried to practice what the Instagram gurus told me to practice, all the different crazy techniques. And then it wasn't until I was in, I think it must have been Bali, with people surrounding me who were making the money I wanted to make. They weren't necessarily better at sales with me. You know, we'd do role play and I would be like, oh, this guy's not better. He's not really that much better at me than sales. Like I know more than him, but he'd be the one closing deals and I wouldn't. And I realized that these people had something in common. It was that they all just trusted themselves to fucking sell. Like they didn't worry about the framework or the system or the way they're going to close. They just thought, all right, I have a great product. I know how to sell this. I'm the person who's going to close the right person. It's going to happen. I never heard them say like, oh, you know, guys, I have a sales call. I'm quite nervous for it. Maybe they was. Doesn't matter because they bought into the identity of a person who closes, not the one who's scared or nervous or doubting themselves. So what I learned was that I just needed to trust myself. I was never bad at sales. I'm not the greatest, but I'm not bad. And that's what changed sales for me. Because my first sale and it must have been June last year, about a year ago, like my first online sale. And yeah, so that's my story, and you can kind of see. Obviously, that story is pretty much for you guys, so you can kind of see how I've almost spoken the language and understood the story properly, right? And that just comes from understanding your ideal viewer. We're gonna move on now. Kevin and Ronnie, how are we doing?
I mean, I think I have an idea.
Kevin, what's your story?
So basically, when I did my first cold calls, I would basically try to sell hard, right? Just sell, no objection handling, no nothing. Now I've been more like structured, and I've actually like understood the whole point of cold calling is to, you know, talk like a human and understand their pain instead of me just, hey, do you want to buy this, buy that, buy that. That's the only thing I've come up with so far.
Perfect. Good. Ronnie, what's the story?
So that in order for that every marketing channel plays a crucial role in order for the whole ecosystem successful. So to go more deeper into that, I mean by there's some situations where some businesses they have good copywriting but their offer is bad. Or other businesses, they have good offers, but their copywriting is bad, and vice versa. So it's very crucial that every single marketing channel, like from the ads, the emails, from the top of funnel to the bottom of funnel, plays a crucial role in really selling to the ideal buyer you want to get to buy your offer and stuff like that. So that's something I learned from experience from working from other clients that had those type of situations, and yeah.
Okay. I didn't really understand that.
Yeah, so it's like in order for the whole marketing ecosystem for the business to actually get sales, the marketing has to be on point. Like the marketing channel for like ads, if the ads are not good, then obviously you're not going to get a lot of people into the top of funnel offer. Or if the top of funnel offer is not good, then obviously you're not going to get a lot more people into the bottom of funnel offer. So like I was saying, when you want a product that's really profitable or a sales funnel you have set up really profitable, it's very important to have every single thing before and after that set up as well.
Aren't you just saying like if you don't go to the gym you won't build muscle though? Like I don't know, that seems very surface level, that kind of problem, right? Like if this is bad then you'll get bad results. Is that not what you're currently saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Find the story instead of the value. The value will come. Don't worry about the value. Find the specific story when you work to the client. If they knew what you know now, you know, like imagine Ronnie when he signed a client, you knew something that they didn't know. You had to educate them on the sales call and you got them out of that situation. Think of that specific literal experience. That's what I'm trying to find here. Okay, cool. Let's move down from here. Perfect. So now I want you to map the story. And what this basically means is almost kind of assigning roles to these characters and things that help us tell a good story. So in most cases, you might have thought, oh, the hero is going to be me story, which is not. It's not. You're the guide. And I'll tell you why. If we tell a story about you being the hero, why the hell would they relate to that? They wouldn't care. But if we then take our dream follower, right, our dream viewer, and place them in this story as the hero, they're going to feel understood, right? And then if we position you as the guide that means you know more. You are I don't know Star Wars, but I feel like Star Wars is just the perfect one for stories, right? Isn't it Yoda and Luke Skywalker? Yoda's the guide, almost the role model, and then Luke Skywalker's the kind of prodigy. I don't know if I'm correct there, let me know. But your position is Yoda, which means you know more than them. They want to listen to you, right? Hero is the dream view of the person watching this, and the guide is you. Now, the villain. What is the villain? The villain is the actual problem. The specific problem that in your story, Johnny, Zaria, in your story, that problem, that's what we want to be talking about here. That's your villain. Now, without these two, there is no point in this story. Stakes. This is the one that is always forgotten and can make, if you don't include stakes, it can turn a good story into a terrible story because there is nothing at risk. There is no reason for me to be almost excited to see what happens. So what's at risk if we don't solve this problem? Okay. And then finally, plan. Plan is just your solution. I don't mind if you write this out as like in 2 words what this solution actually is. Okay. So I want you guys to write out here specifically, and I'll show you my example of this. Maybe can I publish this page?
Bro, you're muted.
Something is so wrong with my laptop today. I don't even know. Maybe I'm just ill. That's probably it. So yeah, when you're filling this out, I don't want you to just write you as the hero. I don't want you to just write dream viewer as the guide. I want you to speak specifically to this story, right? So my story was nervous for sales calls. Everything went wrong. I tried systems, tried tactics. It never worked. I looked around me and people who were closing deals weren't better than me, but they trusted in themselves. I started to do that. I closed my first sale. So the hero in this case, yes, it's the past version of me. In my case, for you, it's the clients that you're speaking with, but specifically, it's the one who lacks confidence. It's the one that started their business. Maybe they're booking some sales calls, but they can barely close a deal, right? Be specific with who the hero is. Once again, the guide. You know, I'm a load of different things. I run this business. I try this thing. I have this mentality, but be specific for this story. Me, who now understands the power of not another framework or system, but putting absolute trust in myself that I know what I need to do. Same thing with the villain. Same thing with the stakes. Same thing with the plan. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to fill this out. Yo, Michael, I have just put the document in the chat that we're kind of working through. So you can see that, copying that into your Notion and work through it with us.
Yo, Richard.
Yo.
So like, for these categories, this is not like the structure of the video, right? This is just like labeling things.
This is understanding almost, it's not the structure. It's not how the video will go. We'll go into that. This is like the parts of the story that are almost, think of it as like the foundation for the story before we do the structure.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you guys do your reels and LinkedIn posts, if this is very new to you, I would say definitely just follow this process, whatever kind of reel or story it is. Find the story, map the story. So like the characters, the stakes and the plan. And then after we'll go into creating the reel, because that will train your brain on this way of kind of creating content. Because really and truly, this is the value video. This is the value video you guys have been wanting me to teach you how to do. Okay. But we're not just telling people things. Like, that's boring. Who cares? Anyone can recite the value we all have. But when you put a story into the value, no one else can recite that because it's our story. And just once again, put your hands up when you finish this part of the... Yo, Michael, you there?
Yeah, I'm making a copy.
How you doing, bro?
Yeah, doing all right.
Yeah? Woke up on time?
Yeah, today I actually woke up on time. I woke up at 9:30, which was 30 minutes after, but it was good. It was good. Better than yesterday.
Good stuff. Good stuff. That's all that matters. Nice one. Any questions? Because obviously you're kind of going through this after we've done the first part.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make a copy on the phone. Could you walk me through finding the story?
Yeah, cool. So basically, this is your value video that we're going to make, okay? But we're going to wrap it in a story so no one else can tell this. What I want you to do here is find the actual story. So in ideation, this is like finding the idea, right? It's the base that we start on. So we need to find the story that we're actually going to tell. So what this is, basically, obviously, you haven't been through the dream customer document and all these kinds of things, but just think about who you're speaking into content roughly. If you want to go watch those calls, they are in the community call that will help you with this. But for this, basically, the story is a past version of yourself, not in age necessarily, not in, age, I guess age is the best one, but skill set, okay? So something about your skill set, think about this. If I knew what I know now, that wouldn't have happened. Or if my customer, the people that I work with knew what I know now, that wouldn't have happened to them. And you find that story, you write that down, you write the specifics of what the thing that you knew, what happened because of it, the kind of turning point, and then, how you learn the new information, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just finding what to talk about, like.
So think about your skill set right now, yeah?
Sure.
What has been, let me find the right way to phrase this. for the clients that you've worked with in the past, right? What has been the skill or the piece of knowledge that has genuinely got one of your clients from like stuck here to like now getting past that barrier? Just give me an example, any, it doesn't matter.
Well, it's like when I work with clients, it's usually like even with like Facebook ads, it's like
Give me an
Wait.
example of an actual experience you've had where you've probably started working with a client, or you've on the sales call maybe realized that, oh shit, this guy doesn't know this, but I do now, I can help him. Like, give me the actual example, not the general one.
There was one guy I worked with, or there was actually there's a few, but there was one guy I worked with, and he was like running this was a while ago. He was running like a free webinar model, and like a lot of the time these guys just run a model because someone had told them that, oh, this model works and that they should use it, but they don't sometimes they don't understand that, you know, things change, markets change, the way people buy change, and so they get so stuck. They try and make this model work, but sometimes that's not what the market wants. So yeah, back then I was a bit less experienced, so it was hard for me to explain. I probably didn't even know that myself, looking back in hindsight, but now that I do, like, you know, some of these models just don't work in certain markets.
Okay. Perfect.
That was one.
When you say models, speak about the specific model, speak about the specific funnel, whatever it is. When you say market, speak about what that market was in his case. We're not finding the general value here, we'll find the actual story and experience. So that lies in
there was this other one that popped to mind. I worked with this one client with his Facebook ads, and you know, we were on a call and he was talking about the ads, and he showed me the ads, and like I looked at them, and because what came into my mind was when he was basically describing me his story. All right, he was talking to me how, you know, he had this job as a videographer, right, and he started off like freelancing, then he became like this business owner, and now he wanted to help other people do the same thing. So he told me the story, and it's like, because I've been exposed to a lot of copy and like a lot of different ways of articulating things, it was like I immediately knew how to articulate what he was saying. And when I handed him the ads, he basically told me, like, this is exactly what I've been trying to say for the last couple of years, and you just said it. So that popped into my mind. It's like, some things are just so obvious, you know. It's not like something they don't already know. It's like,
perfect.
It's so obvious.
The story is there that this guy has been trying to do X, reach X goal. He couldn't, because he didn't know why your piece of value.
Mm-hmm.
You knew this, helped him do whatever that was, and now that's your story, if you want to go with that one. Okay, perfect. And then after that, map who the hero, guide, villain, and stakes and plan are. But I'm going to move forward. Let me know if I'm going too fast. All good, no problems. Sick. So now we got to creating the reel. So this is the framework that I gave you guys for general kind of content and how to put this into stories. And all it would be is just doing that. Like, there is no way for me to explain this, because you've got your story. You wrote it down, right? If you wrote down the story, like how I explained Michael's version of it, this will be no problem. You've got your hero, your guide, your villain, your stakes, and your plan. So there will be no problem there. Now actually just categorize this into that. So let me share my tab, right? As you can see, I've done that. Hero, guide, stakes, plan. I've had my story here, and because I've done this work now properly, I've now just bullet pointed all these different things inside of it. Okay, so I just started with everyone was closing deals because I didn't have the skill they had, and then my goal was to build a 6-figure brand by 2026. My context, right? I introduced the stakes now. Trying to do this full time, so I didn't have to go do a job I hated, or, you know, not go to uni, whatever it is. That's my context of who I am and why I'm even in this situation. So I got good at the skill of acquisition, right? I started booking the sales calls. I wasn't closing, and there was this pressure on me to close in every single deal, and it made me lose more deals. This is the breakthrough part that I told you guys about. Looked around me, everyone else wasn't more skilled than me, and this is the breakthrough where I realized, oh, they just trust themselves to get the results. Pay off. I never got nervous. I still never get nervous or waste time trying to do some Instagram guru shit that makes me fumble the bag, and then I lead with the mission again. Okay, this should be simple because you've done the work now. The easy part is just putting this into bullet points. Okay, I'll leave you guys with that. Let me know where you get stuck or if you get stuck. I'm just gonna go to the toilet and I'll be back in like 5 minutes. All right, how are we getting on with this? Has everyone got, or most of us got our scripted reel? Yes, no, yeah. Zara, What? Just walk me through your reel.
So it would kind of like start with like a hook, be like automation, like save my business or whatever type of like attention grabbing hook like that. And then for like the context, I'd probably like describe how like I'm a student, obviously with like limited free time and I have a job. So then I would go into like how I was kind of like doing schoolwork every night. Then I'd have work some days, and then I'm trying to squeeze in like time for like specific busy tasks that needed to be done, but it was just like draining me. I didn't have like time for sleep, and then I kind of realized that I didn't really have to be doing all of this. There's like tools now that can do these things for me. So I kind of just like learned to use these tools, implemented it into my business, and then now I have like a better like time balance, which I think like that's what every business owner kind of like wants to work towards. So that's kind of like the payoff. Like just learn to use these tools, stay updated with like every new thing, or like even like delegating stuff to people. I haven't necessarily started doing that, but like it's just like the same type of idea to have my work done for you. And
Okay, I want to just ask you a question then. So from the point of like you struggling to manage your time, and then all of a sudden you learn about these tools, was it that you learn about it from somewhere, saw an ad, or is it that you didn't want to use them and something pushed you to use them? Like, what was that almost the bridge there?
Are you asking me personally or how I'm going to convey it in the story?
Well, it's the same thing, no?
Yeah, I guess. So for me, it was just kind of like my friends. Like I see them kind of like we're like more in tune with like Claude and stuff than me, and I kind of got like mad that they knew more than me. So I just like
There you go.
logged in.
So add that in as like one line in between the part of like really struggling with time and then the part where you're like, oh, I'm going to use these tools. I learn about them. If you add that in there, it makes the story flow so much better. I really like that. Good stuff as well.
I feel like I would kind of need to tweak this story for like my ICP. So like instead of it being like tools or like using AI or something, it'll probably be like more like hiring people or like paying an expert or like somebody that actually knows what they're doing in that like field to kind of do that instead of like sitting there learning how to do everything. I probably cap it just say I like paid somebody to deal with the automations for me or something like that. But
Don't speak about what you haven't done.
okay, yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, it ruins this whole story. Okay. So, what are your kind of angles there? You said paying someone to do it, hiring, and then learning automation. Those are the kind of three angles we can go with.
Yeah.
So, hiring someone, we haven't done that. So let's forget about that. For me personally, I like the automation thing. Talk about how you've automated your business. Okay. How you would automate an e-com brand or something like that. Or, well, you paid us. You paid a mentor, someone to teach you to how to do another skill. So there you go. Right.
Yeah.
This is a really good story. I like it. Don't lie about it. There's no need to. There isn't. Lying doesn't make the story more interesting. Yeah. All right. Is anyone stuck on this process of turning this one story into a proper Instagram reel value video?
Could you explain the end part again?
The end part is in the first part of the framework.
Yeah.
So think of what's up?
No, I was saying go ahead.
So the reason I put end here, it might confuse you, it might not, I'm not sure. Let me just share this instead. But the reason why I do this in my framework is because this is the hook, okay? This is the hook. Think of this, the end as the hook. If you want to write hook, do it. But the way we do hooks and the way I've understood hooks, studied hooks, done hooks, is not by starting at the start of the story because we're telling a story, but by starting at the end. Just not giving the context and how we got there yet. So the example I always give when I teach this is imagine two types of hooks, okay? You've either got change or implied change. So something might change and something has changed. You've either got I woke up and my toe was falling off. That's change, instant change. How the fuck did we get here? Okay, perfect. Now you go to the context journey breakthrough and lead towards that. We almost go back in time. Implied change. That one video that blew up a couple maybe even a year ago now of like, I might have to leave my high-rise apartment if I don't make a certain amount of money. That's implied change. Something might change. We need to figure out if it will. And then you go back in time and start from the beginning with the context. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny, walk me through your reel.
Sure. Yes. So basically the end is the moment you understand exactly what your client is thinking, selling becomes easy. Either that or most coaches aren't bad at what they do. They just sound like everyone else. And the context behind it is I was running ads, managing content for coaches, trying to get clients, but on paper everything looked dry. We were posting consistently and had decent budget, but nothing was converting the way it should. The journey was I kept tweaking the ads, changing the copy, posting more, iterating and testing a lot of stuff, burning through budget and time, and I didn't see any results. and clients got frustrated, business started to feel shaky, and I realized I had no idea what was actually going on in the head of the person that we were actually trying to reach. And the breakthrough is I stopped guessing and actually went deep on the ICP, what their actual fares are, what their life looked like, the exact words that they use, and we rebuilt everything around that messaging, the hooks, the offer, like literally everything. And the payoff is that the ads started converting, organic started putting people in, and it's not because we changed any budget or anything. It's because you can post every day or run ads forever, but if you're not speaking to your client's language, none of it matters.
It's a bit depressed reading that.
Bro, I'm actually a little tired.
Tired? It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I slept at 6 p.m. yesterday and I woke up at 11 and I've been awake since.
Mate, oh well.
I had a driving class, by the way. I almost flipped the car.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That's actually fun.
Right. Anyway, back to the script. So same thing with Azaria. There is no change, or there is no like. How did we go from didn't kind of understand why the ads weren't working to now? Okay, cool. I have to do this about my ICP or whatever. Like, what? How did we get there? What's the bridge in between them?
I realized I had no idea what was actually going on in the head of the person that we were trying to reach.
How did you realize that?
Because we kept tweaking the ads and changing the copy, but we were just burning through budget without seeing any results.
No, I'm asking you. I'm not asking you to read your script. Like, okay, fine. You were burning through money. It was almost a painful situation because he was trying all these different things. But how did you know that speaking to your ICP was the right solution?
When I realized we were just burning through budget, I started looking for solutions, watching some YouTube videos, asking a couple people in the space, and I spoke to this guy that he does what I do, and he told me the problem itself is with my ad. It sounds too flat, I guess, and that gave me some sort of perspective for me to go out there and actually research how to make ads.
There you go. Okay. Make sure that's in there. Second thing I have with your reel, there's a lot in there. Okay. So be careful. When you do actually come back to the scripts, you can even do it now. Just cut out the parts that are unnecessary. Like read the breakthrough and the payoff.
So I stopped guessing I stopped guessing and went deep on the ICP. And I looked into their actual fares, what their life looked like, and the exact words that they use, and I rebuilt everything around that messaging and the hooks and the offer and everything like that.
There's a lot in there. There's hooks, offers, messaging, deepest fears. Like there's so much in there, bro. Sure, there's like 6 in there. Speak about one thing.
Sure, yeah.
So if it's fears, then you go. So I basically built this message for my ideal customer. I used it. I used their fears. Give an example. And then just go from there. No need to over-explain yourself. That's the reason why people will comment and like your videos, because you haven't over-explained. You've just told them the simple story. Okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Nice one. Good stuff. All right. Well, has anyone else got any questions or struggling with putting this reel together? Because please do ask.
I have a question. It's not to do with this because I kind of joined midway through because I just came back from college. But I had a content question that I put in school like a day ago, and I was just wondering if I could get feedback on it now. And
how are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, doing good, mate. Go for it.
So the question was, how do I analyze my content to know what is working and what isn't? Because right now I can do the input every single day, and before it was kind of volume, and I am still doing volume, but I want to also see growth in my page because I feel like it's pointless otherwise, because the reason I'm posting is so then I can get people to follow my account and get engagement on my account. So I was wondering, like, how do I actually look at my social media page and know what's working, know what isn't working?
Good question. So since we're working with not in terms of low volume of posts, but low volume of views, okay, we have to be very careful about this. We can't say oh, this one got 165 and this one got 150. That means the one with 165 is so much better. No,
yeah,
because the gap is too small. So what you've got to look at is impact, okay? Likes, people who messaged you, the conversations you've had because of that reel, and look at them, okay? The things that you're speaking about, because I watch your reels all the time, the things that you're speaking about aren't necessarily wrong. It's just how you package them.
Yeah.
Okay? So right now we haven't found a way to package the value that we have.
Yeah.
In a way where people want to watch it. So there is no kind of oh, I'm going to speak about this topic because this worked best, because we haven't really got that. Most of the views stay around the same area. So it's all right, cool. There's nothing wrong and nothing right currently going on. Let's just see how I can repackage this message in a different way, explain it more clearly, make sure the story is specific to the person I'm trying to attract, and you will grow.
Okay. Yeah,
But
see,
don't rush it, because the more energy of like, I want my page to grow, I want to close this sale, the probably less likely it's going to happen.
Mhm.
Not because you, let's say in sales, because this is probably directly correlates to you, but not because you actually had a bad sales call or said the wrong things or used the wrong framework, whatever it is. It was because of the energy, the energy of you. It kind of seeps through the sales call of like, I need this sale so bad, and that's why you didn't close. Same with the content. Go to record that reel, change your intention from I want more followers, I want more views, I want more engagement, to I want to get good enough to the point where someone comments or someone messages me from this reel like, oh shit, I was in the situation too. Like, change your intention, you change your results, because then your expectations are a bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, your reel did good yesterday. It made me laugh.
Yeah, actually, that's actually my best post I've done so far. It got like 1,000 views, but I feel like that's the best piece. That's top of funnel content. That's the best like top of funnel content I've done, because it's not as generic as the other top of funnel content I'm doing. Like, it's more like funny, if you know what I mean. So like, it's more me just being myself, which I've noticed. Like, I've really noticed now that the top of funnel content I was doing before, I should do it differently. Now I know a bit of a different perspective on how I should be doing it, instead of the way I was doing it before, which I've now realized most of my top of funnel content before was actually middle funnel content. So I've actually realized that when I do post top of funnel content, I should be posting it a lot more different, not just because of that engagement, but because I've just been watching other people in my space and seeing what they've been doing.
Nice. What's the change?
The change is, I think it's just like you said, the energy I'm bringing onto camera. And I think also, if you look at all my posts, they're very similar, which isn't a bad thing, because if someone just sees my page, if someone just sees that video, they're not going to look through my page and then see that all my posts are the same thing. But I think it's definitely like the way I'm giving out my message is definitely different. And like in the video I posted recently, I'm showing a lot more of my personality in it, because I'm smiling. I like laugh at the end. I like show more emotion. So I feel like it's mainly just the energy I am bringing onto the call, which is kind of what you said.
Yeah. Was you in the top of funnel like content call?
How long ago was that?
I think it was like 2 ago.
I wasn't on the call. I wasn't on the content call last week. It was in college, but so I wouldn't have been on it.
Okay. Yeah, literally a week ago. So what you're saying is that you was more yourself, and hence you got more views, and it got you better kind of traction.
Yeah.
Exactly what we spoke about on the top of funnel piece, and we spoke about it and put it in a framework where you don't kind of guess now, like, oh, I guess I'll be funny kind of thing. There's a framework there. Fill it out. You understand what makes you you and how to use that in your content.
So
you'll find that inside the community call recording section 7 days ago.
Cool. I'll watch it straight after this.
Cool. Perfect. Nice one.
Thanks.
No worries. All right. Well, I hope you guys have understood the framework that I brought on for this reel. Does anyone have any questions with this reel? Did they struggle with this? No? We're all good? All good? Nice. Okay, good. I want to see this reel out this week, because this reel is the value reel you guys have been looking for. I'm sure when you wanted to learn content from me, you wanted to know how to make a value reel so clients would come to you and all that kind of stuff. It's a very important reel, because it's almost showcasing you are good at what you do. You're also human. You also didn't know how to do this before, how you learn it. That shifts a belief in the viewer's mind. Okay. So I want to see this reel very, very soon. But unless there's any more questions, any more things you guys want to go through in terms of content, I guess we'll leave it here.